So we've been kicking it for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we have.
It's been absolutely amazing to see, not only your work ethic, but the influence that you have on a number of people. Where and when kind of did this all come about?
Man, real estate started. My father, he bought a house. I was like 21, on a finance in Tulsa, right? By that time, he gave me Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But I was too young to really grasp it, and wasn't really interested. So we had that one, and then I want to say, so from 21 to 26, 7 or 8, can't remember. I worked at Guess. I worked at all type of jobs, and then real estate happened. When I like to say, what happens with life is you either get curious enough of a new way of living, or you're frustrated with the way you're currently living. But frustration and curiosity is like that crossroads. That when you get to that point, then that's when something's gonna happen. For me, it was like, I don't want this. I don't know what's next, but I don't want this. So, I think it started. I reread Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then that's when I grasped the concept of think, do, and then you'll be it. And from there, man, that led into Think and Grow Rich. And long story short, think, be, or what think, do it, and then be it. And yeah, and then the second thing I got from that book was don't choose a job for the money, choose a job for the skill.
Yep.
So then that's when real estate started right there. I was like, all right, I want to learn the skill of sales. So talked to a friend, he got me a job in South Lake, and I was talking to a bunch of people about different jobs. He got me home theater installations in South Lake. South Lake is like the richest city in Texas. So
Plenty of clients.
So you're just talking to these guys like, what do you do? One guy said real estate. That he was real passive with it, but it was enough for me to really be like, what does that look like? And then just went down Google Central, real estate conference, real estate agent. Saw a conference, go to the conference, talk to the lady. The lady was like, "There's something about you. Come to the house next week." So I started driving Miss Daisy basically for 5 weeks. She paid me to drive her to do her real estate deals. And her social class was crazy, bro. She taught Vladimir Putin how to make a chili hot dog.
Whoa.
Yeah, her husband was second in line at ExxonMobil. This is my first day in the real estate world. So it started from there.
Welcome back to another great episode of the Vision Lab podcast in partnership with Nexum Creative. I'm your host, Ryan Cuffey, alongside my co-host, Mr. Ryan Mosley. The Vision Lab is the official growth mindset podcast for all visionaries worldwide, showing mad love to the cigar community. It's here in the lab where we uncover people's visions and dreams and how those dreams actually come into reality. Folks, it's all about tapping into and becoming the absolute best versions of ourselves through self-discovery, self-examination, and self-actualization. I am so excited about today. This has been a big, long time coming for me, personally, and you know that. Our guest today is not shy on being on camera, full of wealth, full of knowledge, full of energy, and it's going to be an impactful episode, and I'm forever grateful for this opportunity. Yo, Mo, what we got on the show today?
Today's guest is a native of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. He is the CEO and co-founder of DRSF Keys, based out of Fort Worth, correct?
Based out of Fort Worth,
Texas. Please welcome the incomparable Freedom Johnson to the Vision Lab podcast.
Yo.
we just need to hang out.
Come on, man.
Like, I got something to do and just be like, yo, just Mo. Right. Just hype me up real quick.
Yeah. Come on, man.
That was crazy.
Come on now. No, man, listen. We met Propelio 2019, I believe.
Okay.
You probably don't remember. It was either 19 or it had to be 19 because it wasn't going on in 20.
Okay.
And I believe it was October. Shout out to Propelio.
Big shout out to Propelio, man.
You know, it was there that so I started getting involved with Propelio, and for those that don't know, Propelio hosts like these quarterly conferences or meetings, seminars where people from all over the country that are involved in real estate will come and talk about specific subject matter, right? And you were actually there just attending. You weren't speaking at this particular engagement, but you were walking around. They had a couple of vendors in there. We met. We connected. And I didn't know who you were.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And obviously you didn't know who I was either, but it was we exchanged contact information. And just like most networking events, it goes into your phone and you forget about it. And I don't remember what it was that caused us to connect again.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps it was social media or whatever, but I've been telling Mo, because we both do real estate.
You've been on the list. He was
know,
like, Mo, we got to get this guy named Freedom on the show. I was like, all right, let's
listen,
get the book, we'll get the schedule.
It's like,
wow.
And every time we talk about the
salivating.
schedule, like, he was like, we got to get this guy Freedom on the show. It's like, look, here's what we got open. Get him on the phone. Let's get it booked now.
Yeah. So,
Wow, I didn't know that.
been
I
a
really
big,
didn't know
big,
that.
big fan of you, and you and I have been working a lot more closely
Yeah.
of recent, and I'm
Yeah.
grateful for that, and your tutelage, your knowledge, and everything. But you know, we kind of talked on the introduction about like how you got introduced to real estate.
Yeah.
But I want to go backwards a little bit,
Okay.
and I want to talk about mindset, because one of the things that attracts me most to you is your mindset and like how you go about your everyday living. But and Mo, I was telling you this before, like you're not just a billboard, like you live and breathe it. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man. Thank
so talk to us about your growth, your maturation into mindset.
It started right at that crossroads, Mo. That real like frustration and curiosity thing. So that started, I would say around probably like 23, 24. But you know how it is whenever you're frustrated with something, but you don't have enough information to get exposed to the new thing, you're just still frustrated, right? So for me, I'm probably like 3 years married at that point. I think my son is maybe 3 or 4. I'm working for the government, installing telecom cables like this TV right here. Like if this was a hospital, I was the guy installing the cables so that the TV could go on the wall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so and then the wireless access points in the ceilings.
The WAPs.
The WAPs, right? And then like the recording, the cameras on the outside of the building. So I was doing that, and I was tired of it. I mean, the money was cool, but you leaving a lot, like you going all the time. So that's where it started, and it was like, what else can I do?
All right.
I think me and my wife separated for like 9 months, and I think that's when I had that time to really try to go figure out what was next.
What you really wanted to do.
Yeah, well, really examine what I was doing and be like, okay, I know this ain't working, so what's next? And then that's whenever we got back together, that's when I read, I was watching Super Soul, Oprah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I come back, I'm in the house watching Super Soul, and this guy is talking, because the first thing I was like, well, who can I find? To answer your question, who is successful? And let me just figure out what they doing.
Right.
It started with Oprah. I was like,
Not a bad selection.
not a bad selection. So I started watching her stuff, and then from there, Will Smith was somebody I was a fan of. Jim Carrey's mindset was somebody I was a fan of.
Writing the $20 million check and
Yeah.
showing that check on Oprah. I remember that.
Yeah, so they kept talking about this book called The Alchemist. And
What is it?
Paulo Coelho.
Yep.
And but he was speaking about a book called Creating Affluence.
Okay.
And it was the simplest. At that time, I like to look at information like there's 3 stages to learning. First you have to unlearn what you have learned, so you can give yourself room to learn. So then you can actually implement the new information that you're learning, right? So I was in that unlearning phase, Creating Affluence. That book was so simple. A for affluence, P for positivity, Z for Zen-like. And it was so simple. For 26 days, I could just have one thing to focus on. That led to the rabbit hole of Will Smith, Jim Carrey, Oprah, Alchemist. And The Alchemist is what...
That's the one that stuck.
That's the one that stuck, yeah.
It's a great book. It's a great book. I've read it.
That's where it started.
I know that you're an avid reader too.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to because a lot of our listeners are at that pinnacle, right? Or in that transitional state where they want to.
Yeah. And if I don't answer the question too, like just let me know, because it's so much.
No,
I'm
it's
trying
fluid.
to
It's
go
fluid.
right to it.
It's
Okay.
fluid. But you know, a lot of people are looking to transition. Like 2020 was a hell of a year for a lot of people, and I think it also opened their minds up to see, you know, possibility, right? To see flaw within their professional and personal life, because there's obviously a blend and a crossover there.
Yeah.
But talk to our visionaries, because it's not just a matter of saying, hey, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Here are some of the things that you need to prepare your mind for, or at least condition your mind to be receptive of how to transition.
Yeah. The first thing I would say is look at your time differently. Know that that's more valuable than money. My man, Andrew? Adam said that
Shout
today
out to
too.
Adam.
Shout out to Adam. Yeah, he said that as well. The first thing I did was started looking at my time mathematically. I was like, yo, if I'm spending 40 hours here and I'm making $1,500 a week, but I see the guy who's making $40,000 off of one house, what is he doing? And while I'm spending my time watching ESPN, he's spending his time talking,
researching.
Yeah, putting in the work, right? So I was like, okay, well, so I had to adjust my time. Well, the reality of life is that you still got bills going on. So I was like, I can't replace those 8 hours.
Thank you.
But it's 24 hours in a day though. So maybe I could do it before I go to work and after I go to work. So the first thing I say is get ready to sacrifice time, for sure, because there's no way, you can't conveniently create success. Like, I think people want the elevator to success. They're like, yo, I just want to have the dream. I want to meet the person. I want them to fund it. And then I want to be the face, and then I want to get the check. It's like, don't really happen like that, bro.
You're going to put some skin in the game.
Got to. So, it's a lot of capitals that I say. You got time capital, for sure. Yeah. You're gonna have to sacrifice some time. You got relational capital. You're gonna have to some relationships gonna have to fall off, and you're gonna have to spend some time building some new relationships. And that's networking. That's going to events. That's reading books. I look at books like they're really my best friends. Like, I be talking in my car to Paulo Coelho like he's the big homie. And I'll stop the book and be like, yo, that's crazy what you said, Paulo. I can't believe that. Let me rewind that back. Tony Robbins, Napoleon Hill, like they really were my first board of advisors. So relational, for sure. And then you gotta be crazy. Like, you actually have to believe that what you're about to do is going to happen. So you gotta guard your heart and watch who you can't talk to, the people that you're doing it with, that you're doing life with right now, because they think you're crazy. Yesterday you said you was going to work. The next day you said you're about to be a billionaire. That's crazy for the person that's still going to work.
What you're really saying is you can't share your gigantic dream with small-minded people.
You can't. You know, it's a reason.
They're not gonna understand it.
It's a reason why a giraffe and a turtle are 2 different sizes.
Wow. Come on now.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Say it again for people in the back.
It's a reason why a giraffe and a turtle are 2 different sizes. The turtle can only talk to the giraffe from his perspective. He's like, yo, rocks are moving everywhere. They coming. But the giraffe is like, yo, they like 10 miles away. But he's like, no, today you gotta move right now. He's like, no, I can foresee what's about to happen.
Right there is what I'm talking about, right? So you just gave this parable, giraffe and a turtle.
Right.
Where does that come from?
Man, just books, mentors. It started with books, man. Books really shaped my whole mindset. books really shaped my whole mindset because I didn't know what I didn't know. And then I started reading these books, and they started talking about the power of affirmations and
power of proximity.
The power of proximity, right? We've been experiencing a lot of that
100%.
lately.
And we're about to.
Absolutely.
Come on now.
And just having a vision and writing goals down. But what's crazy is I really do believe, Mo, like people have to make it complex in their brain so they can justify why they can't do it. Like they have to make it that hard so that they can go to sleep at night and be like, that's the only reason why I can't do it. You know what I mean?
Because it's so hard.
Because it's so hard. But if you watch everybody saying the same thing, write your goals down, network, be a value first, be a go-giver. And you see Oprah saying that.
Book, by the way.
That's a great book too, yeah.
Great book.
So you keep seeing all these people say the same thing and you just do it. But success has a roadmap. So I was just following that mindset. Came from those books, man. It came from Napoleon Hill. It came from Paulo Coelho.
Well, at this time you're what, 26, 7, 8?
I'm gonna say 26. I'm gonna say 26.
And to have that mental fortitude,
Yeah.
to know that, hey, I'm not happy with the way things are right now, and I want to change it, right?
Yeah.
But then to get into the books is another thing, and then the implementation, which is really the key of all things, right?
Yeah.
Like you put it in implementation, in an implementation phase. Like, what was it inside of you that made you say, I'm going to do the things that I've read in all of these different books? And you mentioned Jim Carrey, Oprah Winfrey, and Tony Robbins, like
Will Smith,
and
man.
We've heard this, like they're on YouTube today, and you know, everybody's got podcasts, and you know, shout out to all the podcasters that are out there doing it. But like, there's an abundance of information that is at our fingertips.
Yeah.
But you took that information, and applied it. It's applied knowledge.
It wasn't the first day I heard it. I can tell you that because I was in that unlearning. Like their information was starting. At first, I would say it like upset me. Like it can't be that easy. I was that guy at first. Like it can't be that easy.
And the thing is, sorry to cut you off. They're speaking about it in concrete terms, where it's so easy. But then, like you said, the small-minded part of us who are on the opposite end of it, like, well, yeah, you've already accomplished that, so it's really easy for you to say, yeah, I just did this. But if you're just starting, you're like, man, look at this long road I had to travel.
Absolutely.
And that's what that says. It's another form of people making an excuse. Well, look how many steps I got to take to do this. Versus they're saying, well, just take these steps and you'll get this done.
But I can understand why, because people believe the story that they tell themselves more than they believe the truth. And at that time, I was holding on to the story like it's got to be hard, it's got to be complex, you got to be special. But what I recognized from continuously reading those books is that what makes you special is the consistency and the discipline and how simple you make it. That's why I say, like, and I tell a couple of my guys this, I'm like, losers got to make things complex so they can justify why they can't win. Winners make things simple so they can justify why it's so easy. You know what I mean? So at that time, I had to unlearn that it is not hard. It is simple. It is very simple. That's all. Like, it is simple. It is simple. I'm seeing him. What makes him special? You know, I'm taller than him. He's shorter than me. She's fatter than me. He's lighter than me. He's darker than me. I'm funnier than him. I was like, but all these people in these different worlds are successful. What are they doing? I just started looking at the habits. So Will Smith started it because what I did once I started opening up my brain for what they were saying is I would download his YouTube videos. I've never even told the story. I would download his YouTube videos and put them on my phone. So as I would drive to work to the telecom installing this stuff, I would take the long route. So I'm spending 40 minutes listening to this. I could quote the whole 40 minutes like right now to you. Like, I never viewed myself as special. What makes me different was just hours and hours of beating on my craft. Talent gets you in the door, but masters become skillful after hours and hours of beating on your craft.
10,000 hours.
Yeah, so
but he's quoting right now.
Yes.
This is what Will Smith is saying in those videos.
Yeah. So I would, and then the brick wall thing was the one that hit me. The story with him and his father. He told him to build up the brick wall because they messed up the building. He said, I can't do it. So every day, him and his brother just laid brick by brick. And then after a year and a half, the storefront got built up. And him and his brother was laughing and celebrating. And his father was like, don't ever tell me that you can't do anything. I'm driving to the hospital to install these cables every day. That's what it when it became repetition, where I could quote it with him. That's when he became my board of advisors. Now he became my best friend, right? So now I'm talking to Will in the videos like I'm right there with you. Like, yeah, building that brick wall, I remember that. And I would shake hands with the seat. I'm crazy right now. You see what I'm saying? I'm shaking hands with the seat. Nobody's there with me.
To the simple-minded person, but
yeah,
we follow.
I'm talking to Will. I'm talking to Tony Robbins. I would download those videos, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and I would just recite it every single day, to where it gave me a new perspective.
So before I ask you something, because you said a buzzword that sticks out to me based off what I've known meeting you for the past 30 minutes, Cuff, I got to say thank you and congratulations to one of the people who have supported us from Jump Street, and that's Edwina Brown, Jacoby, Devontae, the entire family at Blown Smoke Cigar Lounge. Congratulations on you guys' new location. We look forward to being there very, very soon. Visionaries, the address is posted below in the video. EB, thank you so much for all of your support. You know we are thrilled about your new location. It is gorgeous. And Visionaries, if you're anywhere on the southern part of the Metroplex, make sure you get to Blown Smoke Cigar Lounge.
And by the way, if you are enjoying the content thus far from Freedom Johnson, make sure you go ahead and smash that like button and go ahead and subscribe to the Vision Lab podcast, because we've got a number of fantastic interviews lined up for you guys. We're closing out season 7, getting ready to jump into season 8, and we can't do it without a big bang. And so, man, this is, for me, it's such a humbling honor to just be in your presence, have you for a couple of hours.
Thank you, bro.
And chop it up. I had to pull out the Padron 26.
I know.
Yeah. I appreciate it with the Padron too.
Yeah.
That's a special one for me. Padron's a special one for me.
One of the words you mentioned, habits.
Yeah.
And you are currently in the matrix, if you will, but you're living what it is that you said that you wanted to do. Like, now you do it on a daily basis.
Right.
What are some of the daily habits or tenets, whatever phrase you want to use, that you live by every single day, or at least every single work day?
Yeah. Before I go to sleep, I think about what's going to happen the next day. But everybody's different. So with me, I like to halfway think about it and then write the other half down. I'm not going to front and say I do this every single day. But what it does to my brain is when I wake up, the thought is half done. So I gotta get up and finish it. So it automatically puts me into task mode. But I wake up I go to sleep to I am affirmations. If you literally type in, I think you are creators.
Yep, they're great.
Justin, whatever his last name is, I sleep to that. Every single week, I'm sleeping into that. I can recite that one. I've been doing that one for years, man.
Here's the big question. Why do you do all these things? Why do you read books? Why do you download Will Smith, Oprah, etc.? Why do you do the affirmations? Why are you doing all this?
Because for me, I have dealt with doubt. I wouldn't say depression, but definitely fear, doubt, comparison. Probably, I would say anger, because reality didn't meet up with my expectations. So for me, I had to really learn how the brain works, and the person that talks to you the most is yourself. And that voice is not always a friend of yours. So I have to always keep in information that will support what I want, instead of, sometimes me just listening to myself.
How do we do that? How do we keep in our minds the things that are going to propel us towards our goals, dreams, ambitions, and like safeguard ourselves?
Safeguard yourself from yourself.
Negativities. Yeah, safeguard ourselves from ourselves.
Man,
how do you do that?
For me, it's all about perspective. I really do believe that everything we doing is a diet. What I'm watching, I gotta watch my diet. What I'm eating, I gotta watch my diet. What I'm saying, I have to watch that diet. What I'm listening to, I have to watch that diet. So if I eat what's something crazy unhealthy? Adam, help me out.
Onion rings.
If I eat onion rings, and then it boils down to mathematics. Everything boils down to mathematics. If I eat onion rings 3 times a day for 7 days, that's 24 times that I've digested onion rings.
Right.
Now let's say I want to start changing my diet and I do it 23 times in a week and I eat 1 orange. Which one is healthy? The orange, but which one is unhealthy? The rings. So 23 to 1, I will not be healthy.
The math's not in your favor.
The math's not in my favor. So for me, taking in that I am affirmations, I need to listen to that more than I listen to myself. So if I got 8 hours of somebody telling me I'm great, I am smart, I am abundant, I'm confident, I am strong, the world is yours, you could do anything, then I wake up already ahead of my brain, ahead of that subconscious brain.
Wow.
Right? So when I'm driving, I'm listening to that. When I'm driving, I'm listening to a book. So mathematically, if I'm listening to Tony Robbins, Napoleon Hill, Will Smith, real estate investors, real estate agents, podcasts, books,
The Vision Lab.
if I'm listening and I'm having calls with Ryan and Mo and Adam, I'm doing that all day, then mathematically I can outweigh that voice that was telling me I couldn't do it. Just because I'm like, no, I had too many conversations to tell me I'm great versus what that doubting voice would do. So that's why I started it, because I had to change the volume and get a new voice.
And that happened over time.
Because doubt was too loud. Doubt was way too loud.
You're to the point now you got a team that you work with. What are the telltale signs that you can see when you're having conversations with them, or like, hey, y'all, let's jump on the call real quick, or however you do things? What are some of the telltale signs that you hear or see and you're like, oh, hold on, time out.
Yeah.
Y'all going down the wrong road. Let's get this car back on the right lane and let's lock this down and get back to doing what we do. Because I feel like you're at the spot now where somebody on your team can say, well, I don't know about this, and you're to the point you're evolved enough mentally.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's an excuse.
Yeah.
Or you've made it up in your head that it's more difficult than it actually is.
Yeah.
How do you correct that with your
Kind
team?
of like coaching them up.
Yeah.
Statements that people make someday, trying, words like that are real triggers for like passive people, or people who are just needing. Sometimes you just need a filler word to say that you really don't want to do it. Like, yeah, I'm trying to do it. No, we'll do that someday. No, we can get to that. When? Yeah, let's talk about it next week. So those vague statements, like, oh, you really don't want it. You really don't want it. I'm such a quick action taker that I think we were hanging out the other day, and you were talking about something with the mortgage, and I was like, yo, let's call them right now.
Yeah.
Who cares if it's not right? But at least we'll know.
Taking action.
I hate being in the gray. So when I hear vague statements, you're in the gray right there. Like, hey, when do you want to go work out? You know what, man? It sounds good, man. Like, we definitely need to work out. Let's go do that. I tell you what, next week let's start scheduling a time for the summertime. Like, no, when do you want to do it? No, I'm gonna get with you. When do you want to do it? You know what I mean? So someday
people don't like to be pulled to the carpet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you have to kind of be the asshole.
You got to.
At some point, because like you said at the very beginning of our conversation, it's about time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't have time to bullshit with you. Like,
I don't want to.
If you want it, I'm here to help. I'm here to guide, navigate, whatever. But I'm not going to waste time.
Yeah.
When you're talking about working out, when you want to do it? How about tomorrow?
Yeah.
Tomorrow doesn't work. Okay, how about the following day?
Yeah.
Give me a clear definition so I know what it is and what it ain't.
And we have these conversations, and I have to be like, look, what is the definitive statement?
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a definitive statement, then you're just grasping at straws.
Yeah.
And nobody has time to waste, right? We just lost a very close friend.
Yes.
At this point, about a month ago.
Right.
Right. and you realize that tomorrow's not promised.
Absolutely not.
And it's incumbent upon each and every one of us. We all have families. You got a wife and
Three kids.
Three kids within
My niece was here, but she left.
Oh,
She
she's
left.
gone?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you got a wife and 3 kids. You got a wife and a daughter. I got a wife and 2 kids. Like, we don't have time to be wasting. Like let's make this happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do have to have those hard conversations. And what we do know is that every person is built and made up differently.
Yeah.
How does somebody
That's real.
that is more passive in everything that they do, how does somebody that is more passive, how can they be more assertive in their commentary and talking and getting what they want?
Everybody is passive and everybody is aggressive. The only difference is you'll notice that you're more passive about things you don't care about and you're aggressive about things that you do care about. So you got to get aware of what you're passionate about and what you really care about. I'll give you a perfect example. There's somebody who is very scared to go talk to a seller, but will kill you if you try to hurt their kid. That tells them that they really care about family. So if you're in the real estate world and you're like, yo, I don't know how to talk to buyers and sellers and investors and network, your gift is you care about family. So let that be your talking point with people.
Get your foot in the door.
Right? So that's exactly how you get a passive person from being aggressive. Just focus on what you care about. So for me, it's God, marriage, real estate. Those are the things that God, marriage, my family, and real estate. So whichever room I'm in, I don't care what the conversation is about. I'm going to talk on one of those 4 points.
Can I brag on you for a second?
Go ahead.
I want to give a quick shout out to Ricky because
Shout out to Ricky.
I spent a couple of days with Freedom, and there's a lot of people that talk the talk, but my man is 100% on board for his wife, and in that order, like God.
That means a
then
lot.
His wife.
Yeah.
Then his family. Not his kids, or
Yeah.
family first, like my wife.
Yeah.
And I want to give you a big, pat on the back, salute to you, sir.
Thank you,
for
bro.
that.
Thank you.
It's overlooked, and so
100%.
Ricky, this is you and I have never actually even met, but I'm telling you, having spent a couple of days together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's real, bro. It's real. And so
I had to call her before we did the interview, just to let her know, what's going on.
We're about to get it going. Yeah, for sure. And I respect that. Which kind of leads me into my next phase of questions, and you alluded to it already, and that is your faith in Christ.
Yeah.
Talk about how that also influences you as you move about your day on a daily basis.
Well,
as you got the praise shirt on, 24/7,
Awesome shirt.
365.
We'll talk about it after the show about how I can get one.
man, I'm representing this company called I gotta put you guys on called Art of Homage out here in Arlington, man. I'm rocking their shirts like 99% of the time.
Okay, come on.
In fact, like every time I buy one of their shirts, I go throw one of my simple shirts out. Well, actually, I go give it to the people on Lancaster for the homeless. Every time I go buy one of their shirts, because I just love like the power of words and manifestation. That's why I even changed my name to Freedom. Like,
We're gonna get into
so
that
much.
next. We're gonna get into that next.
All right, so the power of just words, man. They Paul got his name changed, Jacob got his name changed. Like, but that's a whole. We'll talk about that. God is the center of everything, right? So for me, I was telling a friend this a couple weeks ago. I had a tough conversation I had to have with somebody. He was like, "How do you do that?" And I was like, "Well, my only objective in the conversation is to make sure that they get affirmed and let them know that I recognize them. But when I walk away, they see God is in me by how I interacted it, right?" So God is like at the center of everything. I know if you really look at the world, what do people want? They want to be connected. They want hope.
That's what I was gonna say.
And they want to find a dream. So for me, I talk about the hope giver, the dude who gave me hope. You know what I mean? So I just connect on that basic level, and that doesn't mean I'm throwing like, yo, I'm not like the Bible thrower, you know what I mean?
Bible thumper.
Yeah,
By any stretch.
It's just the way I move, like even the way I tell stories about the Bible. I was talking to somebody the other day. They was like, yo, I never heard the Bible talk like that. I was like, yo, it's a crazy soap opera. I can tell you a couple stories, like how the homie smashed somebody and was supposed to go to the mastermind, but he didn't, and then he had a baby, and then this guy told him like, yo, I had a dream that somebody took somebody's cow, and that's a whole nother thing. We could. They was like, I never heard the Bible like that. So for me, God is the center of everything. I say if it ain't good, it ain't God. So if I'm moving and I feel like I'm chasing somebody or something, I know that ain't God. So it's a easy telltale for me to find out when I'm moving in God, because it's always right, it always feels right, and I can be 100% transparent. So whether I'm closing a realtor deal, a wholesale, flipping a property, taking over a mortgage, if I could be 100% transparent, they don't really care about the transaction. They care about you. People don't even know the name of the brokerage I'm with. They know Freedom Johnson.
Yeah.
Because they don't care. They care about who is he, who is Mo.
Who am I working with?
Right? So if people see me, you need to see God. If you can't see God when you see me, I'm doing it wrong. It's straight up like that.
Now, you're from the Bible Belt. Is that the influence?
Absolutely not. I had to unlearn that Bible Belt.
Really?
Heck yeah, bro. You know how the South go.
Okay.
The South is like
hellfire and brimstone.
Hellfire and brimstone, man. I went through a season where I had to doubt if God was real, just so I could unlearn how they had introduced God to me. I used to think God was like, if you close your eyes, this is how you can really judge yourself. This is how you can really judge your relationship with God. When you close your eyes, where is God? If you imagine him. And where it starts for the people who are unlearning, God is up here, looking down on you like a ruler, like you better do it right or else, like a principal, like a angry coach. So I had to go through that. I had to doubt that relationship. I was like, yo, I know you're here, but you're also everywhere. You're in front, you're behind, you're beside me. So now you're in. So when I close my eyes now, if I look at God, He's right here, sitting with me in this moment. He's in front of me. He's omnipresent. He's in front. He's got his eyes looking out, like, yo, just in case something pop off. He's right behind me, just making sure everything is straight. He's on the left, and then he's on the right, just hanging out with me. Like, we sitting here hanging out right now, you know? And then when I need that wisdom, he's right there.
Tap you on the shoulder real quick.
Absolutely. So I had to unlearn that, being from the Bible Belt. Get out of that hellfire and brimstone, like Mo said. And once I created the relationship that I wanted with God, not the relationship that I was taught, then it became from religion to relationship. And when it became relationship, that's when all the stories in the Bible became more relevant to me. Because I noticed, like before,
you could digest it.
I could digest it. Because before, it was like, and Jesus did this and that, and you've got to be like this. But then I started to see his humanism in it. He was crying whenever he was like, yo, I really don't want to take this burden. That's a human, right? I saw how, whenever Nicodemus was like, yo, I really want to come with you, but my name big in the streets right now. Like, they want me. And I don't want to leave that. I don't want to leave that. And God was like, yo, if you was ready, you would come. That's like a big bro talking to you. You know what I mean? Or had a lady at the well, and she got a crazy background. Men don't talk to women, especially they from different communities, but he come and talk to her. He took the first step, and he was like, yo, if you knew who I was, like, you'd be asking me for some water. That's like a big homie talking to you, like, I know something you don't know. So when I had to unlearn how the Bible Belt had taught me, then I got to see his humanism in it, and I was like, yo, this dude is a masterful communicator and is a human. Just, he's God in human form. So when I got to see how human he was, how much he forgave,
it's a reason he is him.
It's a reason he is him. So when he became the big homie, the friend, the confidant, the advisor, the all-knowing, the protector, the provider, the forgiver, I was like, yo, I can follow God anywhere, because he will listen to me. It's a reason why he gave us free will, because he know we're gonna mess up, but he'll come back if I come back. He only go as far as I go. It's not like, no, you messed up in 1992, so I'm never going. No, you going to hell for that one. I had to change that. In the Bible Belt religion way, I had to unlearn that.
And I want to be very clear. We've spent the last week together doing a couple of things in the real estate world. And this is bigger than real estate, right? But when I tell you, and I want to look at the camera here, what he's saying, there's people out there that, you know, will say X, Y, and Z, and they don't live it. You know what I mean? I've been with my mans in the truck. We driving all across Fort Worth, this, that, and the third. Now, by no means am I saying that Free is perfect.
No means.
But he lives what he's saying, and that's what draws me closer to you.
I appreciate that,
as
bro.
we talk about like networks, right? It's not impressive. I don't want to say that, but
for real,
it's refreshing.
It's refreshing. That's a great word.
Thank
refreshing.
You. Speaking of refreshments.
Yeah, we're gonna get it going.
Yeah.
We're gonna get it going.
Oh, hold on. He just did this, so I do have to say thank you to one of the people who surprised refreshments to us.
Oh,
the good folks at Class A Vodka, Crystal and Tim. Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely.
We love the new design. Visionaries, get your hands on the bottle of Class A Vodka. The Instagram handle is at Class A. That's Class A with a K, KLASE. The slogan is Class in Every Glass. We promise you, you will not drink any of the vodka once you've had theirs. Give the good folks at Class A Vodka. Send them a DM. Do whatever it is you got to do. They will make sure that you are taken care of.
And by the way, Jesus' first miracle was at a wedding. Okay?
Come on now.
His first one.
Yeah. Hey, what did DL say? Keep the party going.
Let's keep the party going.
Hey, but real talk, Class A Vodka, absolutely outstanding. We 1,000% stand behind it. They are, to this point, they're actually sold out.
Yes.
So it's hard to even get your hands on a bottle right now. But continue to reach out to them, shoot them a DM, let them know that you heard them on the Vision Lab podcast. That they will make sure that they take care of you. Okay, so
that's love.
Make sure you guys do that. So Free, I've got to ask this.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Christ Almighty in your corner.
Yeah.
You've got a family. You know, you now understand what the power of real estate can do.
Yeah.
But can you communicate what real estate does for people?
I say it creates freedom, it creates options, and memories. For me. Because that's what I'm chasing. Freedom, option, and memories. So I think the first time the light bulb truly went off, a long story short into how the first time the light bulb went off was the lady that I was driving, Miss Daisy,
that's always your question too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's always some type of light bulb, or you said a fork in the road. There's a moment where it's like, this is what needs to be going on.
And I think for me there were different lights that went off for different reasons. The fact that Think and Grow Rich told me to go to serve people first, and I'm driving the lady who's already in the game. That was the first light bulb, like, oh, this stuff really works. The first time that she actually paid me $500 for driving her around was the second light bulb, like, oh no, this stuff really works, serve first. I think the third light bulb was the first time I talked to a seller, or I think it was a seller, and they said, man, the fact that you can help me out without listing this house, you're God, like, you're heaven sent. That's what they said, you're heaven sent. It was like the third light bulb. So it was like a mosaic of just consistent confirmations that you're going down the right road. I think then the next light bulb is she wasn't doing sub 2, she was doing sub 2s, but we had other deals that didn't fit sub 2s, and I was like, what are we gonna do with these? So I type in what else to do with other deals or something like that, or talk to somebody. Somehow I got Phil Pustowski. He was doing YouTube ads, and he introduced what wholesaling was, and I was like, oh, well, that's another thing that we can use. So that was the
you
next
didn't even
light
know
bulb.
about wholesaling at this point?
I had already done creative. I did a owner finance and a sub 2 before I ever heard about wholesaling.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I got introduced to it as another tool, not the tool, right? So it was just, that was a light bulb. And then the first time I got a check for a real estate transaction, no, actually the next one before that was, we had a great deal. I'm marketing, a hedge fund finds out about me, and I start showing, they were buying houses on the market, but I was like, yo, we got to deal with these agents, and they don't even know what this thing is. And this is like 5 years ago. I'm not going to say real estate to me is an advanced strategy, but 5 years ago, it was becoming a thing. So I was like, yo, yeah, like entrepreneur is almost like the sexy thing. Entrepreneur is a fancy way of saying you broke and you're trying to figure it out now, if you really look at people's finances. But I was like, yo, these agents are trying to figure it out, what we're doing, and we have to explain the numbers to them this way. I was like, let's just go off market, go direct to seller.
Yep.
So when I got that first one on Christmas Eve, that was like a $5,000 deal, and that was the next light bulb. But we didn't
close on Christmas Eve?
But we didn't close.
Okay.
Because because I was his assistant, the guy I was working with was trying to push for another $2,000 with the seller. Because the hedge fund was like, we'll buy it right now. He was like, nah, I want more.
Being greedy.
Right? So it never went through. But that was another light bulb, because pen to paper, we got it executed. And I was like, I loved those, what somebody would call failures. I was like, another step, right? And then the final light bulb went off when I made that first one. Something Mahalia Drive, I can't remember, and made $1,000 off of it, and I was like, wow, this stuff really works. So that was the first light bulb. That was the first was that the question?
No, yeah, you're good.
That was the question.
Yeah. I want to hit the rewind button, because you had a number of different light bulb moments that went off for you.
Yeah.
Right? And you're in the middle of all of this, and there's a lot of information that's being downloaded.
Yeah.
And to I guess the novice or the common person that's like, you know what? I don't know about real estate. I hear $200,000-$300,000 and I get scared.
Yeah.
Because they think that they actually are responsible for that money. Can you articulate and say why this works, why it can work in terms of you're not being responsible for that 300? Like,
oh, you talking about the wholesale strategy?
Well, you got wholesale. There's so many different strategies.
There's so many different ways to do it. To where, like
in real estate,
you're right. People get freaked out. They say $250,000 on a piece of paper.
Right.
They hear about it and they get freaked out because not everybody has $250,000 laying around.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's a mindset thing too.
Yeah.
And do a little research. I mean, you got me into real estate. Just do a little research, and you realize that, like, if you play the role that the transaction calls for,
right,
you're not responsible for that $250,000, or you're not responsible for X amount on the other end of the transaction. Like, take a deep breath and relax.
Yeah.
Read a little bit, and you can help everybody out.
And it depends on how you're going to close on the deal.
That too.
Right. So I love, we were talking about this when you was rolling with me the other day. I was like, yo, I love people having a job, because they already have something to secure them financially with their bills and all that. So for me, I don't like talking to the wholesalers like I got no money and I'm trying to get it in. I want to talk to the person who's got a job and they're trying to get into this industry. So if you have a job and you find a house and they're wanting to sell to you for $200,000, and you do your due diligence, you find the house is worth $300,000 if it's fixed up, I would tell the person with a job to do one or two things. Get a loan on the house. If you get the loan on the house and you close on it, then let's say your payments, and I'm just shooting a number out here, is $1,800 a month, right? if you have a tenant who's paying $2,500 a month, you got the loan. All you have to do is to put 3% down, right? So we'll say $100,000 just for simple numbers. You got to put $3,000 down cash on it. The bank is financing $97,000 of it. Your payment is $1,800. You rental rates in that area is $2,500. You get a tenant in there, and he's paying $2,500. So he's paying your $1,800.
Yes, sir.
And you're cash flowing $700
right.
a month.
So you walked in the deal. You got that house for $3,000. In my brain, I got it for $3,000. Right.
Yes, sir.
So I would tell the
It's all
person.
out of perspective.
Yeah, I would tell the person with a job. I would say keep the job until rentals replace your income, right? So for the person who's wholesaling, obviously being a landlord, make sure you got some reserves and everything, because if the roof come down, it's on you. You got to pay for that. For the person,
Well, let's because I want to give our visionaries, because this is a dope episode, right? I want to give them some real. Like I don't want to like fluff over it. How much reserves should they have?
man, I would say
Real talk.
for me,
What your inventory is.
man, I can
I'm
only
just
speak.
getting in the game.
Yeah, I can only speak for me, man. I jumped in when I had I think 8,000.
Okay, so 8 to 10.
8,000, and that was after I closed on the house. How much I had left?
Okay.
Like $8,000. That way, in case something happened, I was safe enough, and I got kids and a wife, right? So my risk, the older I get, and
The higher the risk.
yeah, well, the lower the risk for me. The older my kids get,
Take a little bit more chance.
yeah, I take less chances. For me, I take less. Now, if I'm 21 with no kids, no wife,
Oh, let's
Gamble
go.
all day
let's
long.
go. Let's go.
let's go all day. I just bought that house. I put $3,000 in. $1,800 is the mortgage. $2,500 is what he gonna pay. I got $250. Hey, we gonna make it work.
Right.
I'm married with kids now, and my wife. We have a number that we always want to be safe at. Like that's our broke number, right? So let's say the number was $100. If I got $101, I only got $1 because I'm married with kids now. You see what I'm saying? But if I'm single with no kids, I got $101 to invest. But I'm married now, so for me, I got in when I was like $8,000 in when I started buying those rental properties. But if I'm wholesaling, I wouldn't. It's just me. I wouldn't buy a rental property if I have kids and I'm with a spouse to whatever number that you and the spouse can agree with. Like, just always keep this in. You know what I mean? Like, just always keep this number in, and then everything else you can go invest in. So whatever that number is for that spouse.
Okay.
If I'm wholesaling.
Now, this is, we're going to pivot real quick.
Come on,
right?
man.
Because earlier you said this, and I want to get into this because I want your followers,
Yeah.
you know, to know this true story of Freedom Johnson. Freedom Johnson's not your name.
I changed my name. Let's see, I'm 34. I think I changed my name, man. It was somewhere between Paulo Coelho and Oprah.
Because Freedom's a hell of a name.
Thank you. I was deciding between Kingdom and Freedom, and then I was like, yo, let me give it a year and just really see how these words play on me.
Man, the mindset on this dude is incredible.
But that's when I really started reading the Bible for the stories, not for the do this or else you're going to hell. So as I got to humanize Jacob becoming Israel, Paul becoming Saul, I got to see all the issues that they dealt with. I got to see how human they were but God. That was the whole thing. It was like they're human but God. And when I got to humanize God and Jesus, I was like, man, there's a reason why God changed their name, because their identity, the way they saw themselves, wasn't the way that he saw them. So he gave them a new name so that they could be reminded how he saw them. So when the whole Paulo Coelho, Oprah, that whole community right there, affirmations became really important. So I'm like 26, 27, and I tell my wife this idea, and she thinks I'm crazy. And then I tell some friends the idea. They think I'm crazy. That told me I was doing something right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, so you want to make sure your ideas or your dreams and goals are so big that it scares people?
Yeah. So before I told them, it was probably a couple months before I actually had the heart to actually say it. So then so I started making the shift into pieces of paperwork. And I remember when I was working in Star Power, I would have the business cards, and it went from Dominique Johnson to Freedom Johnson, and then my folder was Freedom Johnson and all that. So people would see it and be like, "Yo, that's your name?" And this is before when I was still in the process of just playing with it. Like, yeah, this is my name. So the question was, just so I can answer directly, the question was, how did I change the name? And that was it. So it was just, I went through that year of playing with it, and I kept asking myself, what am I chasing? Freedom. So then I love to play on words. So my family calls me Dom. What did I want to be? I wanted to be a free Dom. I didn't want to be anybody else. I wanted to be a free Dom. Free from what? Free from judgment, free from comparison, free from anger, free from old habits, free from hate, free from infidelity, free from
no shackles.
Yeah, just no shackles. I just wanted to break free from all of everything that came with being shackled. I wanted to break free. And then it just became a universal thing. I was like, everybody's chasing freedom, but it became internal. Like, I want to be a free Dom. And that's how
much did it cost to legally change your name?
Man, so true story.
And how many stacks of paperwork did you have to fill out?
Well, they ask you, like, if you're running away from, like, are you running away from the government or what? So it's just go to the meeting, go to the courthouse, and you tell them no, and then they check you, and then you're good. I am the laziest, I will not lie. My license still says Dominique because I still haven't gone to do the final piece.
Oh.
Yeah. So I told my wife, I was like, yo, this year I'll do it. Mm-hmm. Man, I've got like
here we are on the
edge
cusp of July.
Yeah, the edge of July. This is 8 years ago. Maybe like 6-7 years ago.
So the bills that come to your house, do they say Freedom or do they say Dominic?
Yeah, they say Freedom.
And I will vouch for that because we went to the house.
Yeah, he came to the crib because it was Airbnb that week.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm about to fire up another stick because there's so much to unpack with this gentleman here.
I'm here all day with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm having a ball. This
is dope. This is absolutely dope.
I want to make sure whatever you ask me, I want to give it to them.
We've created a show for people just like you to be able to share your thought process, your mindset, and just the life experiences you've had with our visionaries. You said sticks.
Yes.
We gave him a stick from the good folks at Dollar Sleep LLC.
Yeah.
Correct.
You have been smoking the Hamilton.
Yes.
So
Hamilton.
kudos to the good folks at Dollar Sleep LLC. The website is dollarsleepllc.com. The Instagram handle is at Dollar Sleep LLC.
You're not playing.
Whether it's cigars, entertainment events, charity events, whatever it might be, give it to the good folks at Dollar Sleep LLC. We promise you will not be disappointed.
So there's a lot to unpack with Freedom Johnson.
I promise we'll get to real estate. I want to be so technical.
But it's beyond that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I do have some subject to questions for you, but it's a mindset thing, right? And you know, from changing the name, from the affirmations, like everything that you embody on a daily basis is gold.
I will say all of that, man. I had to do that work before I jumped into real estate.
Right.
And as I've gotten into real estate, I told you, I tell people all the time, entrepreneurship is the biggest personal development industry you can ever get into because it makes you look at yourself first, right? Because normally whenever you're broke and you're trying to get money, you're asking, how long do I have to do this until I get a check?
And that's the wrong line of thinking.
Right. But as entrepreneurship gets to put you in this serve the client, make sure you're giving value, overvalue, under promise, over deliver.
Yep.
You get to notice like these are transferable skills in other areas of your life. I was really lucky to be married at 22 22, 23, 24. Quick, right? Because I had a mirror who was holding me accountable before 26, 27, getting into real estate. So I had somebody who was always like, yo, don't do that way. Think about this that way. Maybe you should think differently about this. Have you considered these things? So when I jumped into real estate, that mindset was already in training before I jumped into real estate. You see what I'm saying? Most people are just broke, single. Let me take that back. There are people who are angry, broke, single, who carry that baggage into the game, right? And they want to do a deal because they're angry and broke. So you interact, they catch your energy from angry and broke with investors, with agents, with bankers, private lenders, with sellers. Your whole marketing, like everything is like angry and broke. So I had somebody at 26, I was 5 years married, 8 years together. Someone was already holding me accountable because my wife is my mirror, right? Like my wife is, I was told this, and I tell people this now that I was told this. Your spouse is you outside of, your spouse is you outside of you, talking to you about you.
Hold on. Say
it one more time.
That sounds like a gym. Say that one more time.
Your spouse is you outside of you.
Okay.
Talking to you about you.
That is 100% right. That is 100% right.
I'll give you an example.
That is 100% right.
The wife goes home to her husband. She's been working all day. The husband gets home early. He's taking the kids to practice. He comes home. He cooks. The wife comes late or 3 hours late. He's like, yo, like, where you been? He's frustrated. Why is he frustrated? Because the you outside of you wants to take care of you. You dig what I'm saying? The spouse wants to take care of you and be home with you and spend time with you. If he's frustrated, it's because there's a part of you that knows I should be tending to the family. You can switch the roles. The husband comes home late, the wife is with the kids and she's at the practice. He comes home like, yo, where you been? It's not that the husband is a jerk, but that's the other side of him that's like, yo, family's important too. So that's his mirror. So
we often forget why we're doing the things that we're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's always the North Star. It's always that I'm doing this for the betterment of my family, to level up my family, etc. But when you're in the throes, when you're in the in the weeds, you often forget that.
Yeah.
But you don't.
I have.
You have an anchor.
I have had. I'll be real. I've had weeks. I don't have seasons of it because I was 8 years together with my wife together before I got into real estate. So we had already learned how to tell each other we pissed off. Right?
You lived in a world of broke.
Yeah, I lived in that world. So for me, the anchor, when I jumped into real estate was when I was mentally ready to make it the fourth priority. God, thank you, Jesus, for that. I jumped into real estate when I recognized it wasn't my God. Everybody got idols, bro. Everybody got idols. That's where comparison comes to. I didn't have real estate. I wasn't idolizing wealth. I wanted to be wealthy. So I had already had principles set. You know, single guys want to go hang out. I'm not hanging out with you, bro. I got a wife, bro. I'm five years married, bro. Together 8 years, bro. That's what y'all do. I'm not doing that. So I had already came in the game with principles. You know what I mean? I think to make it make sense for somebody, if they're in the hip hop, Jay-Z got into the game of rap when he was 26. He had already had life happen and had approached the game with perspective. That's why it was so easy for him to build his own company. He's like, yo, I've been doing it by myself already. He wasn't 18, broke, and trying to figure it out. I was broke, but I had wealth and family and perspective. So for me, I jumped into real estate when it was the fourth most important thing in my life.
So let's correlate that to the 40, 45-year-old. I've been working for 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
I want to make this transition. I want to
They want to make
provide
the
for my
transition.
family. Whether real estate is the vehicle or not,
Yeah.
doesn't matter the end game, right? Like, but at the end of the day, I just want to do something positive for my family,
Yeah.
and for generations behind me.
Okay,
Talk to them
They
for
40.
a second.
They 40. They 45. Are they single or are they married?
They're
'Cause-
married.
Okay.
2 kids.
Gotcha.
2.5
Yeah, just
kids.
the regular.
Yeah.
The regular, right? 40 with a job. I would tell them, stay at the job. Use the job to leverage getting bank financing to go buy properties, and then leave the job after rental properties is surpassing what they were making a week or a month.
Say it one more time, because I want people to hear this, because
Yeah.
this is important, because we're in this age, we're this information age, right?
Yeah.
Where everything is available on YouTube.
Yeah.
Again, if you are following us, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, because we got fire content coming from people like Freedom Johnson. But at 45, I'm tired, I'm done, I don't want to work for the man, yada yada yada.
Yeah. Well, my first piece of perspective to give to them is if you want to live a life that you don't, if you want to live a life that you want to do whatever you want to do, you're going to have to do what you don't want to do until you can get to that point, right? So what are the things that you don't want to do? Stay at that job. Use the bank and your income to leverage getting financing. Go buy properties, rental properties, until it can surpass what you're making monthly.
Okay.
Because I'm at a space in my life, I'm 34. I don't want to burn all the boats and then be like, yo, it's either this or nothing. I'm not 24 anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not 19 anymore. I don't live like that. Now strategy comes into play, because checks may not come in. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Checks don't come in every 30 days when you an entrepreneur, when you start. But you know what does? Bills.
Yes, sir.
Bills come in every 30 days. So why would I let that pile up? Because now I'm moving with now I got pressure, anxiety,
Not thinking clearly.
fear, anger, not thinking clearly. I'm irrational. I'm gonna talk to the seller that way. I'm giving them that energy. But for me, I would stay at the job, use the bank, get that financing, close on these properties, and just slowly build up these rental checks that surpass what you make monthly. Slow and steady win the race, man.
So we're into real estate.
Yeah.
You dropped it a couple of times throughout the podcast. Subject to.
Yeah.
Where you cut your teeth.
Man, so, yeah, the lady...
What is subject to?
Sub 2 is when you're taking over the mortgage.
Okay? You're taking over... So I'm a 45-year-old man with a wife and 2.5 kids.
Yeah.
I'm taking over a mortgage. I'm struggling, Freedom,
Yeah.
to pay the mortgage that I currently have.
Yeah.
I've got a $1,500 mortgage.
Right.
And we're barely making ends meet. I got enough to buy some Crown Royal
Right.
and a couple cigars.
Right. What's my advice to that
Come
male,
on.
to that male or female?
Come on.
Real simple. 4 words. Don't do sub 2.
Okay?
For that person, because you're already moving with just enough to take care of their household. If it came, this is sub 2 is, man, it's such a heavy responsibility. If it came to me paying my mortgage or their mortgage,
Paying mine every time.
right. Now when you do sub 2, you're saying I am going to financially be responsible for the thing that you've been doing for years. So if it comes to me paying my mortgage or their mortgage, when I do a sub 2, I'm paying theirs. Here's why. Because it's such an advanced strategy. If I default on them, their credit is getting messed up. You see what I'm saying?
Now, real
Now,
quick,
go ahead.
let's clear up the picture. Are they? So let's say it's $2,000. You're sub 2ing it, right? That's the mortgage payment.
Yeah.
They are paying you $2,000.
No.
They're paying $2,500.
No, so a sub 2 is Mo, what is your mortgage payment? It's $500 a month. How many months are you late? okay, I'm late 3 months, so I'm gonna pay $1,500 to catch this up so that your credit can benefit, and then I'm gonna close on this house, and for the next however many years on that lease, on that mortgage, I'm going to pay it. I'm going to pay it. You can continue to go live your life. I'm gonna pay it, and you're gonna benefit on the credit side of it. So I'm paying the $500 now. So I'm responsible for my own mortgage
Plus.
and Mo's mortgage, right? So,
But they're paying.
no,
No.
they're not paying anything. They walked away from the house.
Get out of there.
Yeah,
So this is vacant.
the house is vacant now. I'm paying a mortgage nobody's living in. So now my exit strategy is, I got to get somebody else to pay that. So I bring a renter in, or I flip it, or whatever. I'm doing one right now, and I'm bringing a renter in on that property, right? So I think mine is like almost $900 a month, but it rents out for $1,800. So I'm actively paying these $900 until I get a renter in there. That's a huge responsibility. That's a huge responsibility, because if I don't have the money, their credit gets messed up.
And they're thinking they're all fine and dandy.
They
because
thinking they
walked
all
away.
good. Imagine him trying to go to the bank one day and say, yo, I'm ready to go get a car or something. They'd be like, well, you got horrible credit. They'd be like, why? Freedom promised me that he was going to do something that he didn't do. So then they sue me, and then I go to court, and the court says, because this is such an advanced strategy, you made a promise on something that people don't understand. You're responsible, Freedom, because you promised you could do that. I would say, so if somebody's 40, 45, got a couple dollars, don't play the sub-2 game, because you're playing with people's lives. You're playing with people's credit.
The ability to move around.
100%. I say if that 45-year-old person still want to jump in the game, and they got a great deal, mortgage is $500, rents out for $2,000, they want to leverage that. I say go partner with somebody who's actually got that capital to go do that, and got the credibility to go do
At
that.
least somebody got the experience.
So if it was me, I'd be like, yo, I got a great deal. Don't look like it's a flip. Doesn't look like it's a owner finance. Doesn't look like it's a wholesale, but it looks like it's a sub-2. They said they're open to it. I don't have the funds. I come to Mo, I come to Ryan, be like, guys, I don't have the funds for it, but you guys are credible. You've been doing this before. How can we partner? Because there's a couple capitals in the game we haven't even talked about yet. You got relational capital, time capital, financial capital, intellectual capital, and physical capital. Well, I put the time in to go get this deal, right? Mm-hmm. You got the financial capital. I was the physical capital. You got the intellect. You see what I'm saying? We used all five. All five of us got capital in this game. So I'm like, how can I benefit from that? Well, I got to be a go-giver first. I'm like, guys, listen. Y'all got the time. Y'all got the finances and the intellect. I put the physical and the time in. Mo, Ryan, the mortgage right now is $500. It's gonna rent out for $2,000. I know it already. Would you guys be open to me making a third of the spread if I bring the deal to you?
And any sensible person will be like, sure, let's figure it out.
But real
There
quick,
you go.
just, I don't want to derail.
Yeah.
But talk about, because I want people to hear, like, steps A through Z. When you talk about a spread,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
So the difference between the mortgage, the payment, the
$500.
Yeah, and that's the PITI, payment, interest, taxes, and insurance.
Okay.
All in $500 to cover all four of those things.
Correct.
To cover the check you send to the bank to whoever your lender is every month.
But the market out here, people are renting houses in this neighborhood for $2,000. That's $1,500. Is that the number we've been playing with?
We said 2,000.
Yeah.
$1,500 spread.
So we got a $1,500 spread. So that $1,500 difference goes in your pocket. So I'm like, yo, can we all split that? I brought the deal. You didn't have to go. You was doing podcasts with people. You was just chilling. I just called you today. Mm-hmm. You didn't expect this deal to happen. I got some leverage in that conversation. You got some leverage in that conversation. Let's make this work for both of us.
Okay.
So that spread, I want a third. Are you guys open to it? Because I know that I don't have the funds if it comes, because I'm broke. If it comes to his mortgage and my mortgage, I'm paying mine.
Yep.
Y'all rich. If it come to your mortgage and somebody else's, y'all can cover both.
But your leverage is I control the paper. I control the deal.
I brought the opportunity, man.
I brought this steak to y'all's table. I expect to get a couple cuts off of it.
Yeah, and if not, then we work out something else, and if not, then I'll go take this contract and take it to somebody else.
And this is the meat and potatoes, right?
Yeah.
Like you're a wealth of knowledge. What about the person that does not have? Well, let me rephrase that.
I tell them don't do it if they don't have it.
Let me rephrase it. How does a person find the deal?
So, the way to find deals, you got. For me, I have found two different ways. Doing it financially and doing it relationally. It depends on where you are with your finances, how big you can go. What I mean by that is, if you want to pay for a list, you can go ahead and pay for a list. What's the company called?
List Source?
Yeah, List Source. You can pay for lists like that. Or you can do it relationally. What I have found is the referral basis is the best way to do it, right? So what I mean by that is, let's say I've got $0, right? What I would do is I would change my mindset first of all and be like, yo, everybody's in real estate. Somebody knows somebody who has a house. So then I look at my gifts and be like, yo, if I hate calling people, I don't know how to market online, but I'm really comfortable talking to people. We're going the relational route right now, $0. What can I do? Let me call friends and ask them if they know somebody who is in a house, who's in a situation. And the only question I'm going to ask is, what are you going to do with the house? So if I know a friend and I know that they're about to split up, or I know that she's about to move to a new city because she got a job, then I would reach out to them and be like, yo, what are you guys going to do with the house? Right? If I have the job, then I get the loan and I buy the house from them. If I don't, then I figure out that wholesaling strategy, how to get it under market and go sell it to an investor who's got it. But that relational capital is a lot easier to get into the room of having a deal because they already know, like, and trust you, right? So I would do the relational route if I don't want to use any dollars. You could do the driving for dollars, something that I call like take a left method.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we did talk about that. If I'm going to Applebee's, I'm not trying to do nothing crazy. If I got to go to work, before I go to work, just make a left into one neighborhood, see some crappy houses, and just put the addresses down. Pay 50 cents to go skip trace them, and then call them and be like, hey, Joe, I saw this house on 123 Main Street. It's like, really? How'd you know? Yeah, it's the one with the red house, with the messed up roof. Yeah, I just saw it today. I didn't know if you was thinking about selling it. If I have a job, I get lending, I get financing to go buy that one. So I would go the relational route from driving for dollars. I call it take a left, or just call friends and just let everybody know, like, yo, I'm buying houses. If I'm going the finance route, then I'm going to pay for ads. But I need to learn marketing first. And learning marketing, simple way to put it, stop talking about yourself, make the person on the other end of the screen the hero. Instead of me saying we buy houses, be like, yo, I can help you sell your house fast, right? And I would put ads out everywhere, man. I would put postcards, I would put mailers out.
What's your budget on the ads?
Right now I'm doing $5.
Not you.
Oh, okay.
Just the novice that's got $0.
Go the cheapest route, man. Go the cheapest route. Direct mail is very, very expensive. I would learn that social media game immediately.
Okay.
I would learn social media. Now I'd be doing Facebook ads. I'd be doing Instagram ads. I'd be doing YouTube. I think the most expensive digital is pay-per-click, and then the most expensive physical is direct mail. But I would do the take a left method, skip tracing for 50 cents, and call them on my phone. You know what I mean? My phone I'm already paying a bill. Yep. I don't need to go get a whole system right now. I'm trying to get it. I'm 40 with kids, and I only got enough money for Crown Royal, so I'm gonna just pick up my Crown Royal money and go pay for the skips racing. You know what I mean? So I would do that. I would go to Staples. I think $1,000 cards for $10 to get business cards, and I'm gonna put them everywhere that I can think of. I'm putting them in the gas station. What I do still to this day. I'm 5 years in the game. You ever notice whenever you paying for the groceries at the gas station, you got to put it under the card, the little card reader. I put my cards under there.
So gotta see it.
You gotta see it.
It's an impression.
Right? I would do that. I'm going to meetups. Meetups are free. I'm typing in real estate in whatever city I'm in. I'm going to the meetups. I'm giving my cards out. I'm telling every friend that I know. Even when I go drop, I've sold no house. I've bought no house. I'm 40, and I just want to get into the game. When I'm driving by to go look at houses, I'm posting and I'm putting it on Facebook like, yo, I just saw this today. If anybody wants to sell a house, let me know.
Why are you doing that?
Because the world needs to know what I'm doing now. Point blank, period. They need to know what I'm doing. The best branding you can do right now in advertising is where you're already talking about what your life is, which is on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. You're already there. If you're already there, that means people are already watching you there. So if they're already watching me here, how about I get them to watch what I'm about to do?
And I think this
That's
is
free.
This is a key point, right? Because you may do 30 posts.
Yeah.
As an example.
Yeah.
But one post, you may not sell that property yourself.
Yeah.
You never had it under contract,
Yeah.
right? But all of a sudden, Becky Sue says, "Hey, my cousin is about to go through a divorce, and they're looking to get rid of the house."
Yeah.
So how much effort, how much time, how much money did you put into just saying, "Hey, I'm here's a house that I saw," so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Becky Sue reaches out. It could be a $30,000 spread to you.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Man, the time capital is really small, but the relational capital
Goes so much further.
goes so much further. They already know you. They already know you, man. So, I would say jump into the relational capital space first. There was a guy, he came to my office and he was talking like, he was saying like, yo, I gotta make calls. I have to make calls in order to get deals. And I was like, who told you that? He was like, well, that's what they say. I was like, who are they? He was like, them online. I was like, okay, that's what they said. I was like, let me ask you a question. How did you find out about them? The people that's saying call. He was like, well, I was watching their social media. I was like, so the people that's telling you to call, not saying they don't call, but I was just challenging his brain. I was like, the people, you chose to follow the people who tell you to call because of you seeing them online. What were they doing online? Talking about the game that they do online. I said, so think about this. Why they never cold called you and telling you to watch them online? He was like, I don't know. I said, because they don't want to cold call you, bro. They want to be online. So if they're online to get you to follow them, why don't you go be online to get people to know what you're doing? He was like, well, how do I do that? I was like, get off the phones, man. Your personality isn't built. He said he hates calling. He loves relationships. I was like, give me your phone right now. We switch phones right now. It's some relationships I can't pay for. Because you already got 10, 15, 20 years in. So why don't you just go post that you at a house? Why don't you go post that you thinking about flipping? Why don't you go post that you just talked to a lender? Why don't you go post that you just went to a meetup? Now you in the world of real estate, so every time they see you, they thinking you in real estate. So when they think of real estate, they gonna now start thinking of you.
Simulation, bro.
And he was like, when did you figure this out? I got a post about it. In fact, I was like, his question was, how did he say it? When did you find out you could do it that way? And I said, when I realized real estate was a playground, not a prison.
Why do you say it's a playground, not a prison?
Because you can play this game however you want. I've chosen to be into the digital space. I've chosen to be in the real estate space, referral space, relationship space. I've chosen to be into the marketing space. I'm not making calls.
It's a fact. It's a fact. When I spent, we could call it 48 hours.
Yeah.
2 days. 2 business days with Freedom. Never saw him make a phone call. Never.
Not one call.
And unless the call was some like a
follow-up or something.
like a follow-up,
Yeah.
or like, hey, we're doing this, blah blah blah. But never saw him make a cold call.
I've been in that space. Like the game that I chose early on was to make the calls.
But you know what though? It's
Man,
important.
I had people with strong accents, bro, closing deals,
But
and me closing deals.
It's important
I
to
chose
say.
not.
It's important to say.
Nothing wrong.
No,
I chose
There are
not.
people that
You know what I mean?
that make a very good living
Very good.
cold
yeah.
calling.
Yeah.
So you have to find out who you are. You have to know who you are, and
That was the playground, not the prison.
what you bring to the table.
That was the playground, not the prison. My superpower is relational equity, right? Well, like
Facts.
once I'm in the room, I can connect, right? I'm still developing the cold call piece because I don't want to do it anymore. It works. I close deals. Freedom Johnson, doesn't want a cold call, right? So I'm building right now actively the cold call space again, but from a relational standpoint.
Yep.
Right? So this is real. I haven't told anybody about this. What I'm building is make the calls, be like, yo, have you seen our YouTube? Have you seen our mail? Have you yeah, no, I haven't seen it. Go check it out. Flip it into a relational right off of that. Oh yeah, I saw your stuff, man. So now next time I talk to you or the team talks to you, yeah, I saw the stuff that you were talking about this specific niche. Yeah, man, we can help. Anything you need. I don't even come into the deal. I am a realtor and an investor, and we have a construction team. So I don't come into the deal like I gotta buy it at this price or else. I'm actually coming into the deal like a doctor. You ever notice when you go to the doctor, they don't tell you what you need right off the rip. They say, Mo, how long that been going on? How does that feel? Have you tried other things? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Why haven't you tried that? When do you plan on trying that? Do you want to talk after you try that? Well, based off what you said,
That's what I think.
here's 3 things we could do. You make a choice. That's me.
And then they end up coming directly to you.
Most of the time.
So this is bars, gems dropped. You told us what to do.
List source, go find them leads.
List source.
Yeah,
we've
drive
got
for dollars.
probate. We've got sub twos.
Yeah.
Driving for dollars, etc.
Take a left method. I like
Take a
that one.
left.
That's
your thing.
It's so much better, man, because when people think drive for dollars, they're like, okay, today I have to get 4 hours out of my day to go drive 4 houses. I'm like, no, man. You got a job, queen. You got a job, king.
Yeah.
You at work 8 hours a day. I got a different alternative for you. Make a left before you go to work, and make a left after you go to work. Go down one street.
What happened?
2 streets.
What
and
happened
see
the
a
other
couple
day when I
houses.
did that?
So we were at a house that you're working on right now, right? So we leave the house. This is true story, Mo. We leave the house.
True story.
I'll let you tell it. You tell it.
No. Go ahead, because you were getting ready to go up to OKC,
Yeah.
right? Was it OKC?
At some point of that day, yeah. I think we had to go to.
No, because we had just left after eating barbecue and hanging out.
Oh yeah. So
And
so
you
we
went
were
up to
going back.
OKC? You
yeah.
were going up to OKC.
We were going to OKC. Yeah.
I was picking up my daughter,
Yeah.
and I, picked her up. Yada yada yada. I made the left,
Okay.
straight up, and I was like, "Yo." I just found 2 properties.
Yeah. He made
Two.
it.
2.
Come on now.
They still on my phone. I remember you sending me.
And I said, and all I said was, I made a left.
Made a left.
All
Yeah.
right.
So
And he hit me back, LOL.
That easy. That easy.
That's it. Like, we don't know as of right now, the time of this recording, what that's going to yield.
But was there a telltale sign of distressed property?
100%.
By making the left. He didn't do anything abnormal about his day.
Or completely out of the way.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna throw an extra gem in there. Take your kids. Let them see. Don't pressure them to do what you're doing, but just let them see. Let them be exposed to it. And who knows, 10, 15, 20 years from now, my daughter, once I built up this, whatever I build up, who knows if she's going to be like, yo, I'm in this.
Yeah.
I'm in this. And now we talk about true generational wealth.
Yeah.
Because
generational skill set.
100%.
But it's wealth.
100%.
Like, we're not after the skill set. We're not after the skill set. We're after the wealth. But the skill set, the wealth comes from the skill set. For 100%.
Right.
But
what we're really talking about, to boil it down, it's a generational tool.
Yeah. It's a tool. You can pass that on.
Yeah.
So here's the dope. Like, that was such a, like, I was so happy to see the text message, right? Because he sent me.
That's real life.
Yeah. He sent me the joint, and I was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that's a foreclosure, man. They got mad distress. Like, you need to skip trace him and talk to him. So that's at the end of the day before I'm headed out of town. The beginning of the day, we met at a property that he had, right? And we leave the house, and I'm driving around the neighborhood. And when we get to
I'm like, what is this dude doing?
Yeah, so we get to my office, and he's like, yo, Free, like, did you not know where you was going? I was like, nah, bro, I made a left. He was like, what is that? I was like, let me tell you what I did. He was like, what did you see? I said, I saw 4 pieces of land. I saw one house next to the church, and I was just writing the addresses down. I jumped on PropStream, did my little thing. I'm good. He was like, when are you going to talk to him? I was like, I don't know.
But you made the note, though.
Maybe next week, but I know the house, though.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a real talk. It's real talk. Like,
it wasn't inconveniencing your day.
No, it wasn't. It was a minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
To maybe 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And I was like, does God know that he's lost right now? Like, what is he doing? Like, we literally we did this.
True story, Adam. True story.
And so you giving us some gems, some bars on what to do.
Thank you.
Tell us what not to do. I'm a brand new investor.
Yeah.
I'm a brand new investor. I reach out to Freedom Johnson.
Right.
Hey, I've seen you on social media. By the way,
let's have this conversation.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Drop your social media handle for all of those visionaries. By the way, if you're still tuning in to the podcast, thank you so much. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Vision Lab podcast. But Freedom, go ahead and drop your social media handles.
Okay. If you're on Facebook, Freedom Johnson, or Realtor Freedom Johnson, or Freedom Johnson Realtor. I think it's Freedom Johnson Realtor on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, Freedom Johnson, or Freedom Johnson Realtor. LinkedIn, the same thing, Freedom Johnson Realtor. YouTube, Freedom Johnson Realtor. Yeah.
Freedom Johnson Realtor. He ain't hard to find.
Yeah.
And there's no other pages.
DRSF Keys is the name of the company. I don't even think I have a lot of stuff going on with that, social media wise. But type in Realtor Freedom Johnson. Come to my office, man.
That's gonna get to you.
Yeah.
Type in Realtor
Freedom Johnson on Google Maps. Yeah, Google Map me. Type in Realtor Freedom Johnson. Come to the office. Yeah. Look me up.
So we talked about the do's.
Google me, whatever they need, bro. Yeah.
We talked about the do's. What are the don'ts? I'm brand new.
I'm
35, 40, 45 years old.
Yeah.
I've got the 2.5 kids.
Yeah.
What do I don't do? What do I don't do?
This is a great piece.
What should I not
do? I like what do I don't do?
Don't jump in this game without talking to your spouse.
Okay.
Because time and sacrifice is something that will come with the game for sure. Don't jump into the game without talking to your spouse. I hear people all the time like, man, I'm just trying to get into the game, but my girl or my husband don't understand. I'm just like, oh, that's because you haven't communicated with them. There's about to be a shift in time. There's about to be a shift in sacrifice, right? So don't jump into the game without talking to your spouse. I can't. Let me just say it like this. There's a quote that I say. People who starving don't cook with people who starving because they look at the food very differently.
Wow. Don't cook with people who are starving. Okay.
Because they look at the food very differently. What that means is don't partner with people who are in a space of need.
Yes.
Because the time that it takes to close a deal, they'll get into a space of anxiety and rush and become irrational. I've been that person before, and I've been on the other side of that as well. So I always say, make sure you're lined up. Like before I had a couple partners in a deal, and I was like, hey, we got a deal. Do you want to invest into it? He was like, yeah, man, I got like $12,000. I was like, okay, how much can you live with? How much can you live without for a year? He was like, man, like $3,000. I was like, all right, you should probably invest $3,000 instead. Right? So that conversation was needed, because if he invested 12 for a year, if it hadn't played out for a year, he'd be like, man, I need to pay my bills, bro.
You're 4 years committed.
Yeah, I need my bill money. So don't invest with people. Don't invest with bill money. Don't invest with bill money. Have a broke number. A broke number for me is what we talked about, the 100 and the 101. Mm-hmm. This is how much money I'm always, and I say always, going to keep into my account. Anything extra is the money I'm going to invest.
That's what I play with.
Right, that's my play money. But my life money is this number.
I don't like the word play money.
Okay.
That's what I'm willing to.
You call it invest.
Invest.
This is what will secure investments. This is what will secure my current reality. So whatever that number is, never go beyond that. Because I'm talking to a 35-year-old person with 2.5 kids right now.
Correct.
Right. So their risk mitigator is a little bit different.
Real life responsibilities.
Yeah, real life.
And I want to paint that picture because that's who we talk to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not your 19-year-old on average. It's not your 19-year-old that's, you know what? I'm gonna, drop out of school and I'm gonna go pursue real estate or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like no, I got real fucking.
You got
real
life.
Real life.
Real life
ahead
is
of me.
going on.
Like don't tell me, don't sell me the dream.
Yeah.
Bro. And that's one thing, Mo, that like we're not trying to sell the dream. Like
yeah, for real.
You're going to get bloody from time to time.
Yeah, so
you got to bleed a little bit.
Don't jump into the game without talking to your spouse or your partners. Don't lose your life money. Don't invest your life money into your investments. Make sure you have a broke number. Don't look at real estate the same way you've been looking at your past pains, because a lot of that bitterness and anger will hinder a lot of opportunities. What's another one? Don't quit the job until real estate is surpassing what you're making. And you can do that two ways. You can do that through rentals, or what I call buying your months back. So if my life costs me $2,000 a month, I close a deal and it's $20,000. Then I bought 10 months of my life back. That's a time for me to actually say, okay, maybe I can leave, because now I got at least 10 months taxes and all that other stuff and marketing. Maybe I got 6 months. I got enough runway to go invest and be committed to that time. Don't be selfish in the game.
Don't be greedy.
Yeah. Don't be greedy.
Recognize when you've won.
Yeah, I say all the time. I was talking to somebody the other day. We were doing some negotiation over some stuff that's going on at the house and them being a contractor for us. And I was like, let me ask you a question. Do you want one home run, or do you want base hits forever? And he's like, I think I take base hits forever. I was like, because if you do one home run, this is great. I'm gonna pay you the home run plus more. She'll never ever come back again. But you can get base hits forever, and you'll get this forever. So I say, home runs happen. Home runs only happen because of momentum. I was doing this and this and this. People saw this. They saw this. I closed this. They referred me to this, and bam, I got a home run.
Yes, sir.
That's the home runs, right? But not, this is the only one I'm going to ever get, and let me just maximize everything I can. Let me take from everybody else, because then what you end up killing is relationships. So I say shoot for base hits, which is consistency, instead of just one home run.
Now, if you're in the game to just get a quick buck,
yeah,
do what you need to do.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, find out what you want real estate to do for you. Some people like, I just don't want to be in today's situation, so let me go find a situation to take care of. Let me go find a buyer or a seller to take care of today's situation. And for those people, I got very different advice. Like, just keep that day job, and as soon as you get that one, maximize it, man, and go pay your debt off. Jump back to the job that you was working at.
Yep.
But for people who are really trying to use it to be a tool, generational wealth type thing that you guys have been talking about tonight, base hits, man. Like, I got a property out of state. I think it's like 500 or 600, 575 or 675 bucks a month. That's a base hit right there, right? It's just multiple of those.
But if you add 5 of those,
you add 5 of those.
All right.
Yeah, we good.
Now you're talking $2,000 or $2,500 a month.
Yeah.
Most people mortgages are, anywhere between 1,500,
1,500, 1,800.
yeah,
Absolutely.
to $2,000. Like, you're profiting, you're cash flowing.
Yeah. That's another. So that's another one. Don't compare yourself to anybody else, because everybody else's journey is different.
Yeah, say it again.
Don't compare yourself to anybody else, man. I was talking to a guy. I was in a plane the other day. Before I jumped onto the plane, this guy had recognized me. He was like, "Yo," he was talking about real estate, and I asked him, like, "What do you want?" The guy said, "I want to make $500,000 a month."
Ooh.
I was like, "Yo, that's great. Why?" He's like, "Because that's what everybody else is doing." I was like, "Bro, we can't even talk. You trying to be somebody else. You're not trying to be yourself. What do you want?" So we broke down the finances. I have this system called the money drawers. I can't say I have this system, but I just gave language to what
he can understand.
Yeah, it was already.
It's called the money drawers.
The money drawers. Yeah. So I was like, "Yo, how much it costs you to live a month?" He's like, 20. "How much it costs you to live a month?" He said, $1,200 a month. I said, "So if you go buy a couple properties, or if you go flip a house and make 120, could you live off of 120? He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "If you made 120 today, what would you do?" He's like, "Man, I go travel." I said, "Oh, so you wouldn't go keep trying to build the $500,000?
Nope.
He was like, "Nah, I guess I wouldn't." I was like, "So if you want freedom and you want to go travel, why don't you build your business around your lifestyle instead of go building it around her lifestyle, around his lifestyle?"
Come on now.
And he was like, "Man, I never thought about that." I was like, "I understand. I've been there too. But just go focus on your 1,200. Go focus on acquiring 1,200 passively, however you choose to do it. Real estate may tell you that you want to go invest in stocks. Real estate may tell you that you want to go build a shirt company. Real estate may tell you that you want to go build a restaurant. But if you walk into this real estate game knowing its purpose, then you can't be frustrated whenever you get the results that you want. Most people be like, "Yo, I'm trying to go build the game. I'm trying to go build this business so I can go chase her, or I can go chase him." But they keep saying that they've got 10 years ahead of you, 10 years knowledge ahead of you. So they just keep growing and keep growing. You can never chase them. Now you're upset. So for me,
Find your own rabbit.
Absolutely. So I'm like, yo, I don't care what nobody else is doing. I'm doing what I want to do.
So we have reached the portion of the show we have decided to land the plane. Full disclosure, I forgot the bottle of Grand Blue.
Oh my God!
I apologize, Francisco, Jameson. I apologize, visionaries. We stand by the good folks at Grand Brulot Cognac.
On the last episode of season 7,
Man, look, it is what it is. I make no excuses. I'm just telling you the truth. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. But make sure you the Instagram handle is at Grand Brulot. We stand by it for a reason. Any product that you guys know at this point, if there's a product that's on this show, we stand behind it for a reason. Again, thank you to Francisco, the owner, Jameson, and the entire staff of the Lovers team for making the partnership happen. Big things are coming in the second half of 2021.
you'll get your hands on.
Yeah,
some
we'll
Rainbow.
make sure you get your hands on it.
I've never had it before.
Yeah, you
never
will.
had it.
Change your life.
You know, we rock with each other.
Absolutely.
So, one of the questions we ask everybody when we wind down the show, there is a round table.
Okay.
You get a seat, and there are 5 other seats at that table.
By the way, Freedom, you're a fan of the show.
Yes.
Yeah,
I remember messaging you guys like, yo, I love this episode.
And I was like, hey, who is this guy? His name's
He
Freedom.
was.
And I was
Yeah.
like, do we know? Because we're to the point now whenever we're getting messages from people.
Right.
And I'll call him like, hey, who is this?
Yeah.
Because it's the whole the thing. Things are expanding.
Yeah.
So now you're coming to contact people like we don't have a direct contact with them.
Yeah, you guys are growing, man.
Yeah,
You
I
guys are
appreciate
growing. I'm a real fan. Alignment is really important for me.
Preach.
So I'm not like this crazy celebrity superstar dude. So I do move with discernment. And when I checked out the podcast, I was hearing what Mo was talking about, what Brian was talking about, how you asking questions, who you had on. So I did my research as well. I was like, yo, I really like what you guys are doing. And you smoke cigars.
Come
Yes.
on, man. Come on now.
The whole
Yeah.
the Vision Lab podcast, smoking the cigars while I feel like it's a fireside chat.
The fireside chat.
It's been great.
I'll mark
man.
that down in the old days.
Man. So to Mo's question,
We're at the round table.
Yep.
at the round table, excuse me, you have 5 other people that are at the table with you. They are dead or alive.
The only stipulation is you cannot have
Jesus.
at your table. Because that's too easy.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't want to talk to him?
Absolutely. Dead or alive. I've got Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
I've got Steve Stout.
New one. New one.
absolutely.
I've got Maverick Carter.
2 new ones.
Yes, sir.
I've got Oprah. I've got Will Smith. So who else? I got
Got one more.
I've got Oprah, Will,
Steve.
Maverick.
Steve,
And Maverick.
Mav. John Maxwell.
John Maxwell.
Did I say Napoleon Hill?
No, you know what? You did say Napoleon.
You did.
John
Yeah, so-
Maxwell can be your 6th man.
Yeah, I've got Napoleon Hill.
No, that's fine.
Is
Yeah,
it?
I've got Napoleon Hill. I've got
Steve Stout.
Steve, Mav,
Napoleon, John Maxwell.
John Maxwell, and Mav. Maverick
Who,
Carter.
now,
Yeah.
I'm very much into the growth mindset genre.
Yeah.
Who is Maverick Hill?
No.
Maverick Carter.
Maverick Carter, excuse
Yeah,
me.
You don't know who
Maverick.
Maverick Carter is?
No, I haven't. I've never
Oh my
heard.
gosh, I
I've
need to
never heard.
educate you.
Let Mo. Yo. Who's Mav?
So obviously, when LeBron came to the league and people found out about this dude from Akron, I believe he's probably the first dude who successfully took his crew with him, and they all turned out to be successes. Maverick is essentially the head of Clutch Sports.
He's the Steve Stout of the sports world.
Okay.
but
Steve
Maverick,
Stout.
but
Oh.
Maverick's like our age.
Yeah.
So Maverick is the agent for LeBron James. Maverick is the agent.
No,
for
Rich Paul is.
Yeah, you're right.
Maverick is the business
The
connector.
There you go.
He's
You're
the-
correct.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Rich.
Yeah, Rich
I'm
Paul.
thinking of Rich. Rich
Paul
is the
could be
agent for LeBron, Anthony Davis, John Wall,
Man, it's-
Draymond Green. Like he's that guy. But he's part of LeBron's. He started off selling jerseys. LeBron started buying throwback jerseys from Maverick and just recognized like this dude's acumen and was like, "You're coming with me."
Mav is a. I mean, it's you only gave me 5, right? So
That's it.
I mean, those are just right now. But Magic Johnson is there.
You don't get a whole roster, bro.
Right. That world though, man, I've always been more respectful of the mind behind the face than the actual face.
It makes them tick. That's another reason why we do the show.
Right. That's why I love Steve Stout. Like Steve Stout gets me in the room of everybody because Steve Stout is the brain behind Nas's moves and Jay-Z's moves, Jadakiss moves, Def Jam's moves. Like a lot of the advertising comes from
United Masters
becomes from
I'll
Steve
tell you about
Stout.
that later on.
So
I'm big on marketing and advertising and just business, so it's just those type of guys.
I love the list. We have 2 or 3? Two new ones to the show. We're 2 years in.
Yeah.
Over 2 years in at this point. And it gives me an idea of like the psyche that you control. And I love it.
Thank you, man.
And we've chopped it up outside of this.
Yeah. I'm not perfect, bro. I mean,
No,
man,
you're not.
stuff,
Nobody's perfect.
No,
but again,
but
this is why
this
we
stuff
do
is
the
hard,
show.
bro. This balance, life, work-life balance
He'll
is
tell you in a minute.
crazy.
I believe in putting your hands in the dirt.
Yeah.
Like you said, nothing's easy.
Yeah.
Like if you want something, you're gonna have to get dirty for it. Not so to get dirty in regards to like being unscrupulous or immoral about it, but like if it's worth having, it's worth work. If it's worth having, it's worth working for. So get your hands in the dirt and get to it.
Yeah.
But let me say a couple of things. To all of the vision, well, let me address your wife first.
Thank you. Ricky Johnson.
Ricky, your man is out here doing it, but he's doing it with you in mind. And I commend you for that.
Thank you, bro.
I commend you
That
for
means
that.
a lot.
You know what I mean?
That means a lot.
You put your wife first,
Yeah.
which is I'm not gonna say it's unheard of.
It's
but
rare in this game.
Rare.
It's
It's
rare.
certainly
in this game.
rare, especially in the
Yeah.
real estate game.
100%.
So Ricky, he lives and breathes who he is,
Thank you.
and that's a big deal. That's a big deal to me, and I'm older than you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that component of you. Like there's so many different components of Freedom Johnson. I appreciate that component.
Thank you.
I also appreciate the fact that you're willing to put it all out there. Like, listen, I'm not a mega billionaire. This is who I am. But guess what?
Yeah.
I've got the blueprint,
Man.
and I'm reading and following the blueprint. So if I'm doing that, and I've reached, what's the word? I've amassed this success thus far.
Yeah.
Imagine what's coming, right?
Man.
I think the thing here is that it doesn't have to be sexy.
Yeah. It's not.
Oftentimes it's not, right?
Yeah.
It's the grind. It's the willingness to get up every morning with a positive mentality, a positive mind state,
Man.
to go after the dreams that you're setting before your family.
Nah, it is very boring, very tough. I think I did a YouTube video probably like a year or two ago. I think the title was called like Start Over, Rebuild, or Quit. Long story short, there was a dude I was partnering with on a couple deals, and he just completely like fell off the face of the earth.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and we had a deal that we had promised to close like 2 weeks from that moment. So I literally just pulled up the camera that day, and just to really talk about like how real I see what isn't in real estate, and that's the struggles and the hustle, right? Like the hustle inside of the struggle.
Yes.
So I make this video. I really do it for me, and I'm like, yo, today is a tough day. The guy, he took all the information, he took all the systems. He's not responding, and there's a deal on the table that we had promised to close with the seller. This was a wholesale deal, and I don't know where he is. I've got to figure out a way to get this done. I don't I think something happened like a couple days later, so I just didn't think time to video it. So I actually closed on. No, I did. Yeah, I did make a video about it. So I closed on the deal, make $0. $0.
Just get it off the board.
Just got it off the board because I promised them that I would do something. And then the person that was buying it was like, yo, I need it at this point, so it ate up whatever profit was there. But I had to do it through a second person because the person that he told me that was gonna close was like, I haven't heard from him, so I'm not buying it. So I had to find somebody else like in a couple days.
In a panic.
Yeah, in a panic, and close on the deal. Make a video about that, and make $0. But the day that I got the news, I make the video and was like, all I have is this intellect that I have. I know this game. I'm a realtor. My wife is about to retire. I just found out she's about to retire a year earlier than what I thought she was. So our finances have gotten
Compressed.
yeah, they got pressed because what I had on the table to close actually isn't closing until 6 months. I may go back to work. So I make this video. It's on YouTube. Like, I may go back to work because I was in the telecom industry doing those things, but also I had the apartment leasing thing. I was like, yo, I may go back to work today. And so I go to a seller's house, and I tell him, like, yo, I could buy this house. He says I might be interested. That was all I needed that day. Like, I could get emotional about it right now. That's all I needed
To get through that day.
I'd never closed that deal. In fact, I took you to the house that I didn't tell you that. Yeah, the house that I drove by.
The one that we
was like the one I missed out on because I didn't follow up enough.
Yeah.
That was his house.
Wow.
Yeah, that was his house.
The one we drove up to.
The one we drove by on that same street that I had closed on. The one down the street.
And that was where taking left.
That was his house. To the left. That's when I made a left. That house, that day, I made a video. This is all I have today. And I go to his house in Weatherford, and he says I might sell it. And I followed up for like 4 or 5, maybe 3 months, but didn't follow up long enough. So when we drove by that day, that was evidence that it sold. But that day that I was in, that season, that mode, that feeling that I was in, all I needed was somebody to say,
A glimmer.
I might.
It's a glimmer.
So it's definitely not. It's not all. I don't post the checks, man. I post the stress. I post the anxiety, the fears, the family, the balance, because that's what we all dealing with.
Do me a favor. Continue doing that.
Thank you.
Continue posting the real, because there are a lot of people out there, I'm not gonna name names, but that post on social media like what everybody wants to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is the bait to get them in, to inspire
Yeah,
them.
for sure.
There is a piece that inspires them. Some of those people that you know, that I know, I've had outside conversations, and we get to have a different talk.
Yeah.
There needs to be more of that, for sure.
And the real, I'm gonna put it out there. You won't, but I will. They're doing that to bait you in, to follow, to like, to subscribe, to watch the video, to create the algorithm so that more people can follow, like, subscribe, etc.
Yeah.
What I love about Freedom Johnson is that he's real.
Can I have another?
He's 100% real.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, brother. Like,
Thank you, man.
it's humbling. Since the day we met in October 2018 to now, you've been consistent.
That means a lot.
You've been consistent.
That means a lot.
I've spent time with you, and we will continue
Yeah.
to spend time with one another. As we land the plane, we ask this question to every single one of our guests on the podcast, okay? So you're no special.
Yeah.
You're no different.
Yeah.
What's the long-term vision of Freedom Johnson?
He took a deep breath. It means he's thought about this before.
It is. It's massive impact in the financial space and the social space in Tarrant County. I love Fort Worth. My church is down the street, so I do know that the easiest thing to solve is the financial space, and then after that, you get to really be who you truly want to be. So I want to show people how financials and real estate, stocks and investments can free them for their financial burdens, because everybody wants the millionaire dollar status, but what you really find out is that your finances are not $1 million a month. So they're like $3,000, $4,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month. So let's solve those problems through real estate, stocks and investments, or whatever your entrepreneurial endeavors are, so that you can truly be who you want to be, which is everybody wants to be in that philanthropy role. So I want to solve the financial space about it, so that we can really start teaching. I have a real passion for couples who want to be in business.
Can I drop this dime?
Yeah.
You got a book that you're working on. Books are hard.
Yeah. Books are freaking hard, man.
When all I want to know is, when can we expect a book from Freedom Johnson?
I will say March 2022.
Can I hold you to that?
You can hold me to it. That gives me enough time. And it's a checkpoint. My birthday is March 25th. So
March the 4th.
March the 4th?
Yes, sir.
Pisces, Aries.
All day.
I think I'm the Aries.
I'm Pisces all day.
Got it.
Read up on it. I am.
He read up on it.
Full blown.
Yeah, so I want to say March 25th, 2022. If I can checkpoint that day as the day that I give massively. So March 25th, man.
You got work to do.
I got some work to do. I've got about 4 chapters of it, and it's really I think the biggest thing is, like, because I have 4 in me, and I'm like, which one can I finish? And because I'm really passionate about couples in business, I'm really passionate about young entrepreneurs. I'm really passionate about just telling my story. And then I'm really passionate on just like a real small book of just go to this site, pay this much for this thing so you can get this business started. So it's just a matter of which one. I don't know, but it might be telling my story up to 35.
Well, I have zero doubt that it's gonna come to fruition. You already got 2 book sales.
Yeah.
You can book that. That's 1,000% gonna happen.
That would, I'd be good.
So at the end of the day, you got 2.
We can sell 1. I'll be like, babe, we impacted the world.
You got 2. You got 2 for sure. One question that we ask to every single visionary that jumps into the lab with us, in case you didn't know, we do have a magical time machine. Okay, we have the ability to go back in time.
Okay.
What advice would Freedom Johnson? What advice would he be giving himself from 5 years ago?
All right,
You're just now fresh into the game.
Yeah, I'm a hip hop head. I love old school hip hop, man. For me, old school hip hop. You know, I'm Common.
Love Common.
Jay-Z, Nas.
Yep.
Will Smith, Rakim. Like I'm an old school guy. Kanye. There was one song, and it was Ye saying "Drive slow, homie."
Okay.
And that one resonated so much to me because my advice to me 5 years ago was like free drive slow. What that means is run your own race.
Yes.
Don't compare yourself to other people. You know, it's in the Bible. You know, I think Peter was talking to Jesus after he came back. He was like, yo, like, I can't remember if it's James. I'm horrible with the who's.
With the story you got.
But I damn sure know what. He was like, yo, Jesus, what about him? Because I got here faster. And Jesus was like, yo, why are you so worried about him? Like, run your own race. So for me, it was always like drive slow, freedom. Focus on what you're doing. Don't focus on if he sees how fast you're running. Focus on your race.
That's good.
So that I would tell me to like focus on what you're doing, because what I've got called for you is not what I've got called for him.
Wow.
Or what I've got called for her. So I would just say be just so focused in on my relationship with God that I hear what God wants me to do, not what other people would suggest I do.
So that's the easier question,
Yeah.
right? That we ask. You were able to tell yourself from 5 years ago to focus on your race.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it a little bit more difficult.
Okay.
Now you're older 5 years. You're 40.
Yeah.
40, 41. What advice is Freedom telling you today?
I've done this work. I would suggest anybody go read Dean Graziosi's book. It's white with black words with a black strip at the bottom. I can't remember the name of the book, but he actually says, write a story, write your future, write from your future self a story to your current self. And at 40, what Freedom at 40 is telling Freedom at 34, he's like, man, life is so great. This is exactly what it says. I can bring, if we ever do this again, I'll bring you the notepad.
Do it again.
It's like, hey, Freedom, life is so great out here. I'm actually on the beach right now. My wife is having a great time. The kids are here with me. They could have been anywhere else in the world, but they're here with me. And we're just sitting here talking about the next endeavors they're going to get into. My mother is with me, and my father is with me, and even my wife's mother and father is with me. I'm not talking to you as 34. This is literally what it says as the 40-year-old. He's like, everybody's with me, man, and no one has any financial worries in the world. We actually just built a property on the island out here, and we're not doing it for ourselves. We're doing it for the people on the island. The water is very blue, and we just don't have a care in the world financially, but we're thinking about building something in Fort Worth, and I can't wait to meet you. But I just wanted to let you know that the kids love you. They're so grateful for what you did. Your wife loves you, but you are so happy in every area of your life. I look forward to seeing you. I'll see you soon. TTYL.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow. The detail.
Yeah.
In that. You thought about this.
I have thought about. I was in California when I read that book. I was working in telecom, so what we didn't get to talk about, long story short, there was a season, I think 2 years ago, 4 or 5 months, didn't have any deals closing, so I go work. I think it's a year and a half ago. It might be a year and a half ago. So I go do this again. Man. We talked about this when you were rocking with me. I have no shame going back to the job.
100%.
Because I know why I'm there. It wasn't last option in life. This is a season.
Job is not the end all be all.
No.
It's the beginning.
It was a season.
Yeah.
So I go back and do this. I'm in California. I'm at Lake Tahoe. Shout out to my father-in-law, Ronnie Johnson, because I was telling him, like, yo, we got to go Lake Tahoe. He was like, man, why? And we get out there, and it's the clearest water. It's beautiful out there. And I come back to the hotel, and I'm writing that letter to myself. And so I had did that work back then. But that 40-year-old self, the power of affirmations, the power of visioneering. I'm going to sleep and I see myself at 40. I'm in shape. I have a picture of the shape that I want to be in.
Okay.
And I had his body with my face on it.
Yeah.
In the hotel. And I just envisioned that person. My wife is in great shape. My kids are happy. My family is with me. And we're just enjoying life. And whenever I open up that notebook, that's a person who has had so much life experience that he moves with a level of patience that 24 and 34-year-old Freedom couldn't move with. So it's the bamboo tree, man. It's the bamboo tree.
Okay, listen, but I gotta say this before we go, because I want to give a big shout out to Freedom Johnson. Couple months ago, I guess at this point it's maybe March or February. Mm-hmm. You can correct me, but Carlos Reyes, all in. Shout out to Carlos Reyes.
Shout out to Carlos.
He was seasoned. I'm gonna throw you on the spot.
3 or 4 maybe.
3 or 4.
January of
January
of 20.
Yeah, huge episode.
Yeah, January of 20, I believe.
Okay.
Had Max Maxwell.
Okay.
Max Maxwell. Listen, you are invited into the lab. We want you, brother. Like I've been a fan for a long time. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring people to be the better versions of themselves. But
True
Max Maxwell
yeah.
gave you a shout out at one of the all-in conferences.
This is true.
2 shout outs, as a matter of fact, at the all-in conference in Arizona.
Yeah.
When you look back and you know that your name resonates with other people that are major influencers,
Right.
how does that make you feel?
I think, well, for Carlos, I met Carlos in Orlando by mistake. I'm flying out there. Me and my wife, every quarter we have a time where we just kind of get away, but to actually prep for the next quarter. So I kind of look at life in quarters, the same 4 quarters of January to April and so on and so on. So it was around that time. So I go to Orlando because that's the place we want to get away. And I'm at a restaurant.
Did you know he was going to be there?
I don't even tap into the guy. I have no idea. I know who he is.
Did you know beforehand who he was?
I knew of All In and him in a podcast. But as far as like what exactly it did, I knew it was real estate just because the algorithms.
You should have been listening to the Vision Lab podcast.
I should have been listening. So I'm in Orlando, and I see a guy that I do know from social media. So I say, what up, Brandon? Brandon say, yo, man, come over here and connect with us. So I'm sitting at this fireplace with a couple dudes, and everybody's with their wife. So that's the reason I chose to sit down, because when I walked by, I peeped out the scene first. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, everybody's with their wives. These people actually care about marriage. I don't know who they all are. So then I go grab a drink, I come back, and everybody's with their wives. Brandon is with his wife, a couple videographers, and then Carlos is with his wife. So I sit down, we all talk, and we had this great conversation. We talk about, VAs and delegation. We leave, and I'm headed to my car, and Carlos is like, hey, yo, Free, I gotta actually tell you something. And I'm like, all right, what's up? He was like, man, listen, we had actually saw you about 20 minutes before, and Brandon came back to me. I'm talking to Carlos right now. He was like, Brandon came back to me, and I was like, yo, I think I know that dude. And I'm like, yo, who is he? And Brandon's like, yo, I don't know. I think he a ball player because, I'm 6'3". I'm kind of tall. And
yeah, for sure.
He was like, yo, he's like, I think he hoop. And I'm like, well, what team does he play for? And Brandon's like, I don't know. I can't remember. And Carlos like, well, he must suck if you don't know his name. So
this is all true. I promise you.
So we cracked the joke about that, and I was like, yo, just remember me as like the non-name ball player. So we connected off of that, and he was like, man, look, I saw you rock with your wife. Come to my event. So I fly out the next weekend to the event, and then that's when I see them. And then Carlos is super dope. Shout out to him, man. So he's really cool. The story with Max is I met Max Maxwell probably like 2 or 3 years ago.
I'm a little upset with you too, by the way.
Why is that?
Because you just like, yeah, my man Max. Like you just kind of threw it out there aloof.
Max actually was.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't it's not a name drop. If you ask Max, I done had a conversation with Max. I was like, yo, Max, I don't care who you are, bro. Like, I always care about your heart, where's your head. Because I don't really care for real estate. I really care for like people's discernment. I care for business, entrepreneurship. So those elements are really what I tend to be attracted to. Like, who are you? And then how are you using the thing that you do to help others? He just so happened to be one of those people. And we connected out here in Dallas, man, and it's been cool. So we send messages and link up, and You know, anytime we see each other, it's always love. So, yeah, I'll tell Max, like, yo, man, you gotta come through for the Vision Lab. He's a good dude. So we could, and shout out to him he didn't have to, you know, him shouting me out. Like, I ain't doing that for no clout.
Yep.
And he ain't doing that to be like, yo, this is the guy I know.
Let me clarify. You're not doing it for clout.
Yeah.
Because I was in your office.
Yeah.
And literally, like, this was a on the whim.
Yeah.
Nobody. This wasn't, you know, planned or anything like that. Like, boom. Maxwell and Carlos Reyes and Freedom Johnson. Max gave you 2 shout-outs.
Yeah. I think it's just real, recognizing real. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want anything from anybody. Like, I love, put it like this, I love me so much that I don't care for nobody else. I don't care for anyone else's attention. I love me and what we doing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we just focus on us, man. We just building. That's all we doing.
So, I don't want the interview to end. I know Mo, we're tight on time, but
we can do it off camera.
Yeah,
we can do it off camera.
For sure.
We can discuss some other things off camera.
I promise you. Last question. If Freedom Johnson were a book,
Yeah.
what would be the title of your book? I love that. That right there, I love that. Because you got to think.
My book today would be titled
See, you've been cheating because you listen and watch the Vision Lab, so you already knew the other.
That's
questions.
not true. No, I didn't come with prepped answers.
Okay.
But nobody's ever asked me that question. Man, I would call it His Pursuit to Freedom, capital HIS.
Capital His
Pursuit to Freedom. Yeah, so God's pursuit to me, but also the double entendre of my pursuit to freedom.
Wow.
Yeah.
My man you're a genius.
His Pursuit to Freedom. Yo, Drew, can we bookmark that? Just remind me, His Pursuit to Freedom, capital HIS.
Yeah. So again, Freedom.
All the time, King.
My man.
For church, brother.
Mo.
Listen,
This is great.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you into the lab. I want to give a big shout out to Drew Cuffey, my brother, who allowed us the opportunity to
Camp out in his backyard.
Yeah.
Do the recording. It's been an amazing experience with you.
Shout out to your wife and the kids too for letting us do this, man. Because this was not a 10-minute situation, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Kingdom principles, right there.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely amazing. Lots of nuggets and wisdom.
Oh, tons of them. Tons of them.
Y'all gotta check the whole video out. Like, absolutely amazing. I'm humbled. You know, Mo, for me, this was a big deal.
Absolutely.
This was
I know.
big
I'm glad we
deal.
can pay it off.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
I'm glad we can pay it off.
I wanted Freedom into the lab. We got it done. It's I'm at a loss for words. I really am.
Well,
So
let me help
with
you
that,
out.
I'm gonna kick it over.
Let me help you out. Freedom, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, King.
Drew, appreciate you letting us camp out in the backyard. Adam, thank you for rolling with us for another great episode. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Mosley. He is Ryan Cuffey. He is Freedom Johnson. All social media handles are Realtor Freedom Johnson Realtor. He's not hard to find. We will see you guys next week on another great episode of the Vision Lab Podcast. So appreciate you.
Season 7, we out. Blessings.